When I was younger, I had the dream of doing what I'm doing right now. And I don't mean talking to a camera. I mean, I had the dream of being confident, not being overrun by shyness or anxiety. And I always wished that I could be someone that could get on camera like this and be confident. I could do TV shows, I could host interviews, I could do seminars, whatever it is. I wish I had the confidence, but I had zero confidence. From a young age, I was very shy, but then going into my late teens and early 20s, I developed really bad anxiety where sometimes I couldn't go shops. I just not go to the shops, my local supermarket, because it was too overwhelming. I couldn't talk to people. I lost friends because I was too anxious to meet up with them. And it kind of ruled my life. And the worst thing about it is I couldn't be myself. I couldn't be authentic. I was like chained by anxiety and shyness, and I couldn't do what I'm doing right now. So I had this ultimate goal of becoming confident, and I tried everything. And by the way, I'm there now. I'm far beyond, I've far exceeded what I ever thought was possible. You know, I go to social situations and not one thought enters my mind of like, oh, what about this? Well, I used to literally, for days before going to someone's house, I'd think, do I take my shoes off there? Do I say, nice to meet you? Do I shake the hand? Do I kiss them? Do I hug them? And it would just make me feel sick. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, just going to someone's house. Now, none of these things enter my mind, even when I'm doing something really overwhelming, whatever. It doesn't enter my mind. I actually just get excited. I get excited about these things. So there was one thing, there was literally one exercise I did that got me there. And I'll tell you that. And it's very easy to do, very practical, and it will work for you. It worked for me. But I tried everything and nothing really worked for me. Most of these things, you know, most of this advice you hear from these gurus on how to be confident, they're awful advice. Like when you're an anxious and shy person and you're in these social situations and they're saying like, do this, do that. It's just so overwhelming. It makes you more and more anxious. And it's like, slow down your breathing. And you're there like, your heart's pounding, you're breathing really fast and you're trying to slow down your breathing, trying to think about what John Peterson taught me. And it's just way too much. So I can teach you how to just actually get confident. It's very easy, very practical, but it does require some effort or consistency. I'd say consistency is all it requires. So keep coming back to it. And this is it, ultimately. So yeah, I did try everything, and this is the one thing that worked, right? So, and surprisingly, I didn't write about this in my book. I don't know why, actually, but I'm happy with the book the way it is. But what I did was, I had this goal of speaking to a camera right now. Literally what I'm doing to you right now as you're listening to me, that was my goal. But there was many hurdles to get there. Mainly, I had no confidence. Another, I didn't speak clearly. I mumbled and I spoke very fast. I spoke under my breath, probably because I was always nervous about speaking, so I didn't really want to say anything that was too like out there, because I was, you know, and that's how it sounded. But I also did it very fast, so I was inaudible. I don't know, you couldn't hear what I was saying. And I also felt like I had nothing to say. So how did I get to this position I'm in right now? From not being able to actually read out loud, not being able to speak to a camera even when no one's around. Like now I speak to this camera, people coming in and out here, doesn't bother me in the slightest. Nothing really bothers me. Anyway, and I could do this in front of a crowd. It's actually, I really enjoy what I'm doing right now, and I love it, and I love that I get to be authentic. And that was another hurdle, trying to be authentic. So literally the easiest way there. I had my main goal, I got some pages, and I had my main goal of being able to speak on camera like I'm doing now. And I just sat for an hour and riffed off every single thing that would get me closer to speaking on camera. So what does that look like? And they can be as small as possible, but I just had a list. Mine will be like reading out loud. I used to, ages ago, I used to grab this book in my room alone at night, and I was even nervous to do this. I felt embarrassed to do this. I'd be like, if you discover in human life, and I remember trying to speak more clear, but that was one step, literally reading this out loud. So I wrote, read my books out loud. Another one, film myself reading my books out loud, just with my phone. And I have these old videos. I'll try to get them for this video. And then I'll have things like just film myself making dinner, just like get used to being on camera, and film myself outside, film myself walking in the park, film myself talking in the park, talk out loud in the park. When I go for a walk, recite Stoic quotes. And this list was anything related to the goal. In up to the point where it was like, interview people, Skype call people, have Zoom meetings, teach friends, teach family, anything. Literally, this list was huge. And all I'd do is pick from that list. I was randomly doing it, but let's just say every day you have to do 3 things from that list. And at the start, of course, I was too shy to do anything. So the hardest thing I could do was to read this out loud in my room. So alone at night, and I'd do it very quietly in case anyone was listening. I lived with my brother Luke at the time. I would go, everything in any way is beautiful, has its beauty of itself. And I thought, whilst I'm doing something like, I can improve on this. Everything in any way beautiful has its beauty of itself, inherent and self-sufficient. Praise is no part of it. And I'd try and prove that way. And that was like, eventually I got pretty bored of that. I was like, that's easy. And then I'd be like, right, let's pull out my phone and do that. So now I have my phone, and suddenly I became really nervous again. To pursue the impossible is madness, and it is impossible for bad men not to act in character. And suddenly I was filming all the time, multiple times a day on my phone, film me read out these out loud. And then I'm like, right, let's try put this to the side, forget about that. Let's give some advice. And I'll give some advice. How to learn about, and I would be doing it like that eventually until I could riff off ideas from my head. And I was like, I'm getting better at this. And then the big step for me was posting a thing. So I remember I posted it originally to a story, because I thought stories don't last long, can delete it if it's not that bad. And I just gave some advice. I read something on a story on my Instagram page, which had like 300 followers. And then I started doing that multiple times a day and started doing Q&As on stories. And then I started filming reels, started filming YouTube videos. And then I started setting up interviews with people I considered important, famous, whatever, worthy, I don't know what I considered back then. And then I started doing Zoom calls, important meetings, that kind of thing. And I just kept ticking off that list I had every single day. 3 things minimum, do as many as you can, and just work your way to the hardest thing and just keep doing it. The goal is you kind of want to be a little bit uncomfortable each time, not too uncomfortable. And I'll tell you why you don't want to be too uncomfortable. Because I did this back in the day when I was trying to get confident, is I just jumped straight into the deep end. I remember I was so nervous, I couldn't even get out of my house at this point, and I decided to partake in a big interview, meeting a famous person who, like, he was very famous. He was very famous anyway. He was very famous to me. I listened to all his music, and I met him. And the whole experience was just way too overwhelming. So afterwards, I just avoided any social stuff for a very long time. So that's what it can do. If you damage your pride or whatever, you damage your confidence, it can knock you back. You go to a party and you go, let's sing in front of everyone for the first time. It can actually roll you back. So just keep hammering away every single day, tick off 3 things minimum. It's like a game. Try work your way to the hardest thing. You can even write them in order from easiest to hardest. Mine was just random, but you can work from easiest to hardest and try get to the hardest thing as fast as you can by working your way up, and you will improve drastically. And that is kind of, for me, I realized this is the only way to get better at anything, and any skill is just repetition. Keep doing it until you develop a skill. If you want to get better at chess, keep playing chess, keep analyzing your games. If you want to get better at basketball, keep doing drills, keep playing games, keep analyzing your games, and then you get better and better. And that is the same for confidence. Just keep doing things slightly outside your comfort zone until the comfort zone is just gone. You're way outside there and you feel okay. So what you need to do right now, if you have the time, is write down that list. Set up half an hour, no distractions, and just write down that list. And then if you really want to go to the next step, put the list in order of difficulty and tell me when you get to the top. And I'm excited to say thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day.